devil fruit abilities and Haki combinations. Now, this is basically what we're going to be talking about today, mostly towards Logia devil fruit users, because Paramecians and Zoans are relatively easy to understand. Now, let's start off with Ornament Haki. Now, there's only 4 people in the series confirmed that are capable of combining their Haki with their devil fruit. Now, this is confirmed. There's obviously more people that can do this, Yonko Commanders, Ben Beckman, all those top tier guys, but these are just the people that gave us a direct reference. Now we have Doflamingo with his awakening strings. Now, one thing to notice about Doflamingo is that those strings, when they were hakied up, they were not attached to his body, so he's basically putting Haki on something that isn't physically connected to him. But the most probable reason he's capable of doing that is because devil fruit and Haki both have some spiritual links with the user, so you might not need to be able to physically touch your devil fruit to actually put Haki on it, because at the end of the day they're both coming out of your body, so it makes sense. And this is why some people think Kizaru may be capable of putting Haki on his laser beams, but that's debatable. Then we have Luffy's Gear 4th, which uses his rubber fruit in combination with Haki, and he's able to increase the tension of his rubber. It also goes back to what Doflamingo and Cracker said. While in Gear 4th, Luffy maintains a state of both rubber and armor, so it's the hardness of his Haki and the softness of his rubber, like, combined. So in a way, combining your Haki with your devil fruit increases the properties that the fruit grants you, so Luffy in a way sort of becomes more rubbery, to say. Then we also have Cracker, where he puts Haki on his biscuits, and they become so strong to the point that it can take on Gear 4th attacks. Granted, they do break. And the last person is Katakuri. We saw that during Luffy's attempt to break Mother Caramel's picture, Katakuri uses his devil fruit in conjunction with his Haki, and that's why Luffy got hurt, because blunt attacks doesn't really work on Luffy's rubber body. It has to be sharp or Haki based. In this case, it was Haki based with devil fruit. Also, Katakuri is also the first to put ornament Haki on like a fluid like substance, Logia. I remember back in the day, I was talking to some people and they were saying like you can't put Haki on something that isn't physically hard, but that clearly isn't the case, because this man is a fluid type of Logia and he's putting ornament Haki on his body, so that brings more possibilities to other types of Logias. Like, for example, can Kizaru put Haki on his light? That would be crazy. And going by what we're seeing from Katakuri, that may be possible. But for the most part, Paramecia and Zone class are easy to understand when it comes to Haki combinations, because they all relatively have some physical aspect to their abilities, unless you're talking about like these hacks abilities like Gurgur no Mi, Kuma's reflecting ability, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, all of those Paramecias, they have some physical aspects, so it's easy to understand like when they use Haki together with their devil fruit. Now Logias is where it gets kind of broken, because while Haki may be something normal in the new world, that doesn't mean Logias are automatically trash. I've seen a lot of people saying Logias are trash. There's a reason Oda made them the strongest class of devil fruits, and from what we've seen so far in the series, that's true. Offensive and defensive wise, they are the strongest. Now, unlike other devil fruit classes, all Logia fruits usually come with 2 traits, with the exception of Blackbeard, because the Yami Yami no Mi. The first trait is whatever power it grants the user, so light, magma, ice, whatever, and so on. The second trait is intangibility. All Logias have intangibility, which is something Blackbeard lacks. Again, I did say like Blackbeard is the exception. And this is where it gets overpowered for Logias. Now, we know that you need Haki to actually hit a Logia user. Now, a Logia using ornament Haki in conjunction with his devil fruit isn't getting touched and somehow remains intangible while he's being hit with Haki. So unless the person attacking has stronger Haki, I'm guessing, or somewhat of an equal scale, he's not touching that person. So I'm guessing the logical concept behind this would be Logias put an ornament Haki on their intangible body, protects their Logia fluid body from Haki attacks, and it kind of like cancels out, so they keep their intangibility regardless, because the Haki clashes with the other person's Haki, but the devil fruit is being protected by your Haki. Now that's broken when you think about it, because this is why Akainu could fight 15 commanders with no problems. Marco, who probably had the best Haki out of all those commanders, couldn't touch him. So any commander under Marco will not be able to touch Akainu either. So you can literally have 5 Marcos fighting Akainu, and if their Haki is not close to his level, they're not touching him. It's just as simple as that. Again, Oda gave these Logias the most broken defense in the series, especially when used with Haki. Then we have what Aokiji did against Whitebeard, whereas Whitebeard used Haki and hit Aokiji, but Aokiji wasn't hurt. Now it could be the same thing that Akainu did, where you could just put Armament Haki on your Logia body to like protect the Haki, but that would mean Aokiji's Haki is way above that of Whitebeard, and that wouldn't make sense. Now the combination he might have done here would be Observation Haki. So this would give your Logia the ability to kind of maneuver around Haki attacks, basically any attacks, to be honest. The explanation here would be Aokiji predicted where Whitebeard would attack and made a hole there. Now this obviously takes time to prepare, because you have to see the attack coming before you do it, so you do need some preparations before you can do this. You can use the ability, because Jozu takes Aokiji off guard and makes him bleed. So again, it looks like you have to be concentrated on who you're fighting, so anything that you don't see coming is gonna hit you, because again, you have to make a hole in that place before, or you kind of have to make your Devil Fruit maneuver around the attack, Haki attack, whatever it is, and bypass your Haki. And in the most recent chapter, Katakuri did the same thing by evading Jinbei's water attacks, and he made his body go around it. Now I personally think this is what Kizaru relies on the most, given that he can already move so fast. We saw that even off guard, Whitebeard, he got Kizaru off guard and he couldn't even touch him, because again, light is just so fast. And again, man, Kizaru and the shit Logias are actually doing with their Devil Fruits, I don't know, Kizaru might be the toughest admiral to take down. Also, it doesn't matter how strong your Haki is, because you're completely missing their actual body. So it doesn't matter if you have Shanks tier Haki. The observation method I just explained is you're not even touching their real body, so it doesn't matter. It's kind of different from the Akainu one, where your Haki has to be stronger. So Shanks attacks Akainu, he probably gets hurt, but if he attacks Aokiji, probably not, because of how different they are. Again, it could be one of these two that Akainu and Aokiji are doing, or they might just be different, but I can see Akainu being specialized in Ornament Haki and Aokiji in observation, so they might have different ways of avoiding Haki attacks given their specialty. And there's a whole Sabo situation, whereas Burgess used an attack. Again, we don't know if he used Haki, but that would be dumb on his part, because he knew Sabo just got a Logia Devil Fruit, so why wouldn't he use Haki? So knowing Sabo is a Logia, he should have known. But yeah, I don't know, it doesn't look like there was the black Busoshoku on it, the black ornament. It's been debated for a while now. Did Sabo use Haki? Did Burgess use Haki, or is Sabo actually get into that level where he can start doing what the admirals are doing? Because again, it goes back to the whole thing. Sabo already had crazy ornament before getting this Logia Devil Fruit. So maybe if your Haki is so overpowering and you have a Logia, people with lesser Haki can't touch you, period. Again, I do think Logias are slept on. I think people see Haki as this all end all be all thing, but I'm pretty sure King's Haki would be some top-notch shit. But I'm telling you guys, the Logias, don't underestimate these guys, because there's some spooky abilities that comes with these Devil Fruit, especially when you're using Haki with it. And we have Enel, whereas he uses observation with his lightning abilities to kind of augment the levels of how far he can sense and hear people. And Enel has a lot of potential. Obviously, to Luffy, he might get that quick work with the Gear 4th and everything and the rubber, but to anyone else, he's a problem. And maybe the next time we see him, he might be on that high tier level where he can possibly fight Yonko commander level guys easy, because just based on his Devil Fruit alone, his Devil Fruit powers, his bounty would have been 500 million if he ever came down to the Blue Sea, which is about pretty much the same with Ace. And that's not factoring things like Haki and other abilities that he has. Even though Enel was one of the first Haki users shown in the series, his observation is still top 5 at this point in the current story, because of how overpowered it is when he used it with observation Haki. Again, the lightning fruit is admiral worthy, so I definitely can't wait to see Enel when he ever shows up in the new world, or maybe him and Luffy fight again, and this time he actually knows how to sort of counter Luffy's rubber abilities. But it is Pharaoh. Like the video if you liked it, comment down below what you think, subscribe for more One Piece content, and I will see you guys and girls later. Peace.